Hey there, everyone. It's Caitlin, your geeky girlfriend, and today we're going to dive back into our Bookie Babe book review series with the book that I most recently finished, The Lovely Bones by Alice Sebold. And if you are a subscriber, or if you're not, make sure you hit that subscribe button because also in this channel there is a movie review for The Lovely Bones movie. So in this video, we're going to be talking about the book, The Lovely Bones. It took me a while to get into this book, and since we haven't done a Bookie Babe book review in a while, I'm just going to go ahead and kind of review what we talk about. I talk about like the major plot points, and I just kind of give an overall review of the book out of a 10 of how likely I would be to recommend this to viewers or to other people. So Alice Sebold, this was her breakout novel. This was the one that kind of put her on the map. I think she wrote a couple of others before this one. And what makes this book interesting is that it is told from the perspective of a 14-year-old girl who gets murdered within the first like 2 pages. And in fact, like the very first paragraph of the book, my name was Salmon, like the fish. First name Susie. I was 14 when I was murdered on December 6, 1973. So you kind of get that right off the bat. So that's not a spoiler because the novel guide and the book flap and that sort of information that you would find for this book would tell you that regardless. So the book follows Susie on her journey in the afterlife. She is at first caught in like the in-between earth and heaven, and she is watching her family who's still on earth, watching them cope with the grief of losing her, and kind of watching her murderer live on his life and see what happens to him. And so that's an interesting perspective. Now, this book did read rather slow in the beginning. I had a hard time getting into it, a hard time picking it up after repeated readings. And just there were a few chapters in there where Susie is in her heaven, as she calls it, and just like experiencing different phenomena and seeing different things happen. And those chapters were kind of slow for me. I preferred the ones where she was watching what was happening on Earth, watching what was happening with her murderer. And then about halfway through is when it really started to get good for me. And her dad kind of takes matters into his own hands to try and solve this case. And that was kind of when it picked up for me. And it was a lot easier to read the second half than the first half. I didn't ever like want to put the book down and like walk away from it. But I've been reading this book since mid-January, I would say. So this one took me a lot longer than some of the other ones here in the channel. But the second half went a lot faster, and I read the second half in about a week. So that kind of puts it into perspective. The first half took me about a month to get through, and then the last half took me about a week. This book is not suitable for children, I would say under 16. The very first few chapters are very graphic. She does recount her murder in a pretty graphic way, so much so that I was like a little bit apprehensive to watch the film because I was wondering how graphic they would do it in the film. So this book, I would say, is not suitable for kids. Older teens, like 16, 17, could definitely read it. There's no language, nothing like that, but it does have a pretty graphic murder scene in terms of in a novel. So that I've ever read anyway. So overall, second half better than the first half. Easy to read, no like big vocabulary words. It's a standard novel. There were a couple parts that, got a little spiritual and got a little, how should I, like, kind of really into the afterlife, I would say. The author does describe heaven pretty interestingly. And so some people, it might be considered controversial because it doesn't quite match up with like biblical beliefs of heaven. It kind of gives a different perspective of like what happens when you die. So it was kind of interesting, kind of refreshing for that reason. So overall, I would give this book about a 7.5 or an 8, based on the second half alone. I was a little disappointed in the ending. I wanted more to come from the end, so I was kind of let down about the ending. It was really, really enticing at the very beginning. Like the first 4 or 5 chapters were really, really enticing. And then it kind of dropped off for me and got really slow. And then the second half picked back up. So I'd give it a 7.5, 8 out of 10. The Lovely Bones by Alice Sebold. Again, not suitable for young readers, but 16, 17 could pick this up. There was a movie about it. I'm going to tell you right now, the book is way better than the movie. So I have higher reviews about the book after watching the movie, but check out my Lovely Bones movie review in this channel as well in my Real Talk series, because that'll be a much longer video. There was a lot to be disappointed about in the movie. So the book looks a lot better after watching the movie, but after just reading the book, it was okay. I would not be my first recommendation to somebody, but if they like murder mystery type books, then this is a good one to pick up. So there is a little bit of suspense. There is a thriller. It does have the spiritual aspect, and it does have kind of that murder mystery at the very beginning, and kind of this thriller suspense. So if you're into those types of books, this would be a different perspective. And it has a woman lead character. So I always like those two. Okay, so 7.5 to an 8 out of 10 for The Lovely Bones by Alice Sebold. If you haven't read it already, maybe want to check that out if it's something that fits your genre and your niche. But like I said, overall, not my favorite book and not the first one that I would recommend to other people. This one was recommended to me by Ashley Crandall on my Facebook page. Thank you so much, Ashley. I did enjoy your recommendation, and I had heard about the movie and had wanted to read this. And then on the back, I'm not even going to, it does show you what Alice Sebold's other novel is, if you were interested. So she does have other novels. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hang out with me for the rest of my Bookie Babe series book reviews, and check out some more things that you can add to your book list and your to-read list. If you're not already a subscriber, make sure you hit that red button, and then you'll be signed up to get all my notifications when I release new content. And if you're already not a follower of my Instagram page, it's at Your Geeky Girlfriend on Instagram. And I post pictures of my to-read list, and after reviews get uploaded, I post book covers, so you can always go back and reference the videos that I've done there too. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and check out my Lovely Bones movie review in the channel as well, and check out my other book review videos in this Bookie Babe series, and I'll see you guys in the next one. XOXO!